Imagine walking into a classroom where the air is thick with tension. The silence weighs down at you as you quietly shuffle towards your desk. Today, you will be taking one of many standardized tests. All the posters in the room have been covered up because that banner telling you to believe in yourself obviously contains all the answers you need to get a perfect SAT score. The teacher begins to hand out the test, and as soon as that white booklet hits your desk, it begins. You feel your pulse racing. Your stomach is tying itself in knots. You can feel all the blood rushing towards your face. You go to pick up your pencil, but your hand is shaking so badly you can barely get a grip. How are you supposed to bubble in multiple choice and write legibly when you're a mess like this? Oh, and don't forget, this test is worth 20% of your grade, will determine your eligibility for scholarships, as well as your future career paths. We've all been in situations like this. It's the reality for children all across our nation. Standardized testing, as it stands now, is ineffective and harmful. It has created an environment where educators teach to the test instead of fostering learning and creativity. It's causing students undue anxiety, and it is not an accurate measure of students' intelligence and ability to succeed. With standardized testing, schools are failing their main goal: to teach students to be higher level thinkers and to solve the problems of tomorrow. Ever since the No Child Left Behind Act was passed, teachers' salaries are directly tied to their students' test scores. This has created an environment where teachers teach to the test, instead of exploring topics further, having deep discussions with students, and helping them individually. I've experienced this personally when I had to take a standardized exam for Algebra 2 in high school. The teachers were told by test makers that one of the functions of Algebra 2, matrices, would not be on the test. So the teachers only taught material that would be on this exam. As it turned out, there were problems about matrices on the test, and the test makers were judging our intelligence based on a skill they told teachers wasn't important to go over with us. But this further draws back to the fact that teachers only teach what they believe is on the exam. According to Dr. Matthew Schuller, the whole goal that the founding fathers wanted to establish with public education was to teach students how to be good citizens. However, with standardized testing, they're not learning skills like critical thinking and analyzing. They're just bubbling in multiple choice questions. In this way, standardized testing is failing to teach students to be good citizens. Another problem with standardized testing is the high levels of stress and anxiety it's causing to students. Did you know that since 2002, the state of California has specific instructions in their teacher's manual on what to do if a student vomits all over their test booklet from stress and anxiety caused by that test? Is this really okay that we're giving these tests to our students knowing that some of them are going to become so stressed they'll throw up? According to a study done by the journal Psychology in the Schools, more than 60% of students experience mild to high anxiety for No Child Left Behind test. As you can see in this chart, we're looking at this gray area. There's a big difference between the high stakes test and regular classroom test. Although we also want to pay attention to the top portion, which is around 10% of students that can't take tests without modifications or accommodations because of their high levels of stress. And this stress carries far outside the classroom. According to the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry, in the past 20 years, we've seen a drastic increase in child psychiatric disorders. Currently, at least 10% of all children are diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder between the ages of 5 and 16. And now you might be thinking, well, testing may cause students some stress, and maybe this environment of learning is not the best, but it's still helping students, right? We're still becoming smarter. But that's inaccurate. Test scores do not accurately reflect students' intelligence and their ability to achieve. According to the National Association for College Admission Counseling, There is no significant relationship between SAT score and college GPA. In fact, high school GPA is a much better indicator of a student's performance in college. We also need to consider that all students are different. They have different learning styles and different capabilities. I think this is best illustrated in a cartoon. It's based off of a quote from Albert Einstein saying that everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid. In this cartoon, the tree are standardized tests. Administrators say that it's fair and equal because all children are taking the same test, but these children have different abilities like the animals. Some of them are like the monkey and can easily take the test. However, some, like the fish, have no business even being out of water. Tests are also failing in their goal to measure students' learning capabilities. Test questions often focus on students' memories instead of their knowledge and their learning abilities. Testing is spreading through schools like an epidemic. Each year, administrators pile on more and more stress with more and more tests and an attitude of racing towards the top, putting pressure on students to get higher scores. Testing has created an environment where teaching how to test is more important than knowledge, is causing children harmful anxiety and stress, and it is not an accurate measure of their potential and intelligence. If we're going to keep giving these tests to our children, we need to change the system. The students are our future, and if we don't do something to change the way these tests are negatively impacting them, then that future is going to look pretty bleak.